Oi, you know what time it is? You're tuned in listening to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his content when it drops. And remember, stay brutal, you mad dogs. Roof!
G'day, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie Metal Guy here with Crank.com and with Cranium Radio. So tonight, wherever you are in the world, it is great pleasure that I'm getting to have a chat with vocalist Jonas from Fixation, who are due to release their latest album, Speak in Tongues, October 11th. They've been on an absolutely meteoric rise since their bloody debut EP in 2020, Global Suicide. I think that single off it, What We Have Done, has already got over 1 million streams on it. The official debut full-length album, More Subtle Than Depth, absolutely skyrocketed you up as well, and seen you playing all over the bloody place in Europe. So absolute pleasure to get to chat with you about it all, my friend.
Thank you so much. What a lovely introduction.
No, my pleasure, mate. Loving the music. First off, can you tell me how I'm interested to know where this all began for you, and did you kind of see when you started this that you would be able to, rise so quickly and get recognition?
Well, to be honest, we actually started this band when we were like 15, back in like 2011. And we did 9 years of just local gigs and writing a lot of music that never made the outer world except our own brains. And it was first in 2020 when we released the first EP, Global Suicide, and teamed up with our label, Indie Recordings. That's when things started happening. And since then, it feels like this new iteration of what this band is. So it's like I feel like we are in the new era of this band, so to say. Those 9 years were just practice, and we were reborn in 2020, and since then it's been crazy.
Yeah, but how important is that, though, those 9 years kind of leading up to it? You would have grown, matured, and evolved as musicians to no bloody ends, that when you finally did go, okay, then here we go. And Indie Recordings, great label for you guys to be teaming up with and kind of go, here we go, here we are, world. And kind of from there, you're bloody played all over Europe as well. That would have been great to be kind of finally getting on those stages as well, considering you probably hit a few of them yourself over there.
100%. Those 9 years, we couldn't do it without them. A lot of trial and error, a lot of figuring out what this band really is, yep. And a lot of figuring out if this was what we really wanted to do. And doing 9 years of, like, we did a lot of interesting things in our local area and Norway, but you really have to want to do it after 9 years of that. And we felt that we still wanted to try it out. So they were definitely important for who we are today.
Yeah, and it's definitely great to see the praise you're getting back home as they're getting that award too, the Breakthrough of the Year award or something, because, well, that would have been really cool just to be, kind of have that recognition in your home country as well.
Definitely, metal, even though Norway is known for this black metal legacy, we're not really that big on metal as a genre generally in Norway, and getting that recognition, that truly meant a lot here, because we were the first metal band ever to get this award. So it puts the genre on the map for, I think, a lot of people that didn't really want to realize that is a big thing in Norway as well.
Yeah. The album, I do want to talk about Speak in Tongues while you got here. It's a great album, and there's a really cool concept behind this all as well, but I'll let you talk about that as well. Can you tell me first about the concept and kind of what inspired the concept and storyline behind it for this album?
Sure. So the basic theme of the EP or the album is about cults, and it's a very interesting topic. It's something that I've been kind of interested in a weird way, for a lot of years. I think even before we released the debut album, we I wanted to write something about this phenomenon that it is. And what interests me about it is the psychological aspect of it. The how can both from the leader's side and the follower's side, how can one person see themselves as this messiah or this prophet, and convince a lot of people to do a lot of weird things to follow this ideology that they have, and then again, as a follower, how can you blindly trust and follow this person? But the more I wrote about it and saw documentaries and read about it online, it it's not a big difference from the society outside of the cults, and that's sort of where the concept started to develop. And the story basically goes that there's this person that feels ostracized from the society that they live in, and try to find meaning in something. They find a cult, but quickly realizes that the cult and the society that they came from are not that different. So they decide to start their own cult because that's the only way they can truly feel like they they live for a purpose, or they live for something that they believe in. And then they found out that it's not all good to have it your own way all the time. So I mean, it probably, if you listen to the whole album, you'll hear the story develop, and it's sort of this turning to the dark side ending, and but then again realizing that the dark side that they turn to might not be that good for not only the person themselves, but also the people that are affected by it.
Oh, damn straight. And I can see like why, like with the presses we got, like with June, I can see you're obviously like drawing comparisons, talking about Cole. And if anybody, like any Frank Herbert fans, I've read the book, I've read the first few books. I know how it goes and the feeling of the cult, and there's more into it. Yeah, you can watch the movie, but with Paul Atreides, he knows he's joining this cult, but also it's evil. He doesn't want to. There's a whole kind of what you're talking about behind the lines as well. I can see kind of why that is inspired you a little bit also with this, because I drew so many comparisons to it, and kind of I love the way you've set this album up. You have these sound bits and just these grabs, these words at the start, like with the grow a flower, you know what I mean? Just I just want to be a part of something, grow a flower, pick the petals, terrace. I'll let the people wait till they catch the rest of that, people. I love the way you set this album. Tell me a little bit about how you use those points in between tracks to kind of set up and convey the meaning and continue that on to kind of a broad package. Because if you listen to the whole album, it really does have that feel to it.
Sure, it's the idea was to make an EP, and usually an EP is like it's 4 songs, and it's something to have along the way to wait for a new album, sort of, so you don't leave the people waiting for too long. But just writing 4 songs that don't really have anything to do with each other didn't feel that interesting to us. So the first thought we had is, okay, we needed to be conceptual in a way. So these 4 songs need to have the same concept. And then I sort of got this idea that what if we, it can still be an EP or a mini album, but if we put in these tracks in between, we'll have this cohesive piece of storyline and music. And I was kind of afraid to bring it up to the guys because we didn't really have that much time. We were already still trying to figure out, the main songs and try to get them written. So I was like, hey, what if we do 4 other interludes as well? And you might think that they're short songs, they're not probably not taking that much of a time from the writing process, but it takes a lot of time to make those interesting as well. We didn't want them to just be filler. We wanted it to be a part of the story, and we wanted it to sound great and feel like it's this sort of movie soundtrack or something that moves the story forward. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. We spent a lot of time getting all those small details in there that maybe you don't hear on the first listen, but the more you listen to it, you'll pick up along the way. And it made it feel like such a more conceptual thing than it was. And I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Oh, damn straight. I know the hardcore Fixation fans are going to love it. I absolutely love the way you've played out. I'm an album nerd, dude. I love listening to whole albums.
Same.
And the way you kind of lay it out. Can you tell me about the first kind of couple of singles that have come off at Random Acts of Violence and Tyrannical Miracle?
Yeah, so Random Acts of Violence, the title itself is something I remember. I think I read a news article while we were playing a show. I remember specifically being in the bathroom reading the article on my phone.
As you do.
And it, as you do. And I think it was in Norwegian maybe. And it said in Norwegian, Random Acts of Violence. And I thought, there's something, it grabbed my attention. And I just wrote it down on my phone, this title in English, and thought, okay, I might use this at some point. And so the demo we made for Random Acts of Violence was made actually when we recorded the last album. It was just one day in the studio where we tried to make some demo based on some tremolo guitars or something. And in my phone, I have this voice memo app, and I record some melodies and stuff for lyrics or whatever. And from that session, the thing that grabbed my attention from those voice memos was the melody that you can hear in the start of the song, this vocoder thing. I only sang it into my phone, but I knew when I heard it, it was like this might really sound cool as a vocoder, sort of grindy, weird vocal thing. And the demo that we made that day, that part was the bridge or the middle eight or the break. And I brought that to the first day where we showed each other demos for this recording process. And the other guys were like, why don't we just put this in the start, because it's the coolest part. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then we basically scrapped everything else from the demo, just used that intro track and wrote everything new from there on. And I think even the chorus was another demo we had made. So it was kind of a mix and match thing. And it's the first time I've actually screamed, like used my screaming technique, because I didn't really have a good technique for it before. Throughout this recording process, I went from not being able to scream properly to learning how to do it. And a lot of the vocals, especially the screaming, was re-recorded at the very last 2 weeks or something. And we made, or we did produced everything ourselves. So while we were mixing it, we recorded the new vocals because it had developed into something more and a much better thing at the end. So I'm very happy with how it turned out, that first single, and I was really excited to release it to the world and see how they would react to us going in a bit heavier direction. And then, Tyrannical Miracle is also a heavier song than we've ever done before. Every song that comes from this EP or this album, it's heavier than the last in some way, because we still have this Fixation sound to it that we did on the debut album, but we have the heavier parts that make up a heavier song, and also Blue Skies that hasn't been released yet. It starts like a punch to the face.
Dude, that track absolutely bloody rips, man. Tell me about that one, dude, because the lyrics, the whole album rips, but I really enjoyed that track, and kind of the other one, Fever Dreaming, as well, which people haven't listened to, but Fever Dreaming, just tell me how you kind of do with your lyrics and your songwriting can kind of portray this, because this album absolutely really grabbed me. Just the whole package, you know what I mean? Your songwriting and your lyrics is so mature and growing up, and it's catchy and it's so bloody relatable. You've hit all these themes in this, you know, like belonging, identity, cults, you know, search for meaning in a bloody broken world, which a lot of people can relate to. So you kind of, you know, how do you convey that when you're writing lyrics, especially for this one, dude?
You know, it's I'm very critical of myself when I write lyrics. I'm very like I use a lot of time doing it, and very picky about which words I use. I don't want it to sound cheesy, and then again, I don't want it to sound so complicated that it becomes cheesy in the other direction. So I spend a lot of time just reading about the topic I'm going to write about. Try to, and through reading maybe some articles about it or some interviews with other people, I pick up these words along the way, and they sort of fill in these gaps, or create an inspiration for me to fill out the sentence from those one words, you know. And I always have a bunch of lyrics in my phone that I pick from that just suddenly drop when I'm showering or whatever, or out walking. But yeah, you know, I was throughout the years, I've watched so many documentaries about cults, and there are so many spaced out ones and specific ones that I wanted to sort of talk about a bit indirectly, but if you listen to the lyrics, you'll probably get it.
Oh yeah.
And use some of the words that they've used in the songs. I actually went to some of the websites for these cults and read the manifesto and tried to get something out of it. Saw a lot of interviews or preaches that they've done, that they filmed. You know, a lot of the Heaven's Gate things, they filmed themselves talking about it.
Religion, cults, politics. I think politicians, they all kind of consider in the same boat somewhere, in my bloody opinion, as well.
Exactly.
So you did mention there that, like, you've stepped up with the kind of screaming sounding vocals that you do have on this, and you have this real great mix of clean vocals with it. We've talked about your lyrics. So how do you use those elements as well in conveying those themes with the lyrics you've written?
Oh, sorry. Could you reiterate the question?
When you're recording with the mixture of the screaming vocals and the clean vocals, tell me how you kind of lay that out composition wise when you're making the tracks.
Yeah. So, you know, for this recording process, it's new to us to sort of add this screaming part, and I think it was just, where can this sound like it makes sense lyrically, and where do we need to be angry, or where do we need to feel this raw energy? How will it portray the lyrics that we're singing, and how will it make the song, you know, better? And especially for Random Acts of Violence, which was the first one we wrote, there was this. It's a song about, you know, being sick and tired of the where you come from and the people around you. So kind of wanted this frustration to get out. I'm so tired of this. I just want to get out of here and go on, find something that makes sense, because nothing makes sense to me. And um, that's where most of, you know, the screaming parts came in, the frustration. But sometimes it's just, where does it sound cool, you know? How will this part be elevated with the vocals? Is it cool to do the scream here, or should we do some more clean stuff? And I think we, you know, it's still something we experiment with, and I'm very happy with where we put it in this EP, but you know, for the new writing that we're doing, it's exciting to see how that has taught us how to write more heavy music and where to maybe be more thoughtful of where we scream and where we don't, you know.
Yeah, well, having the both together with the clean vocals and then with the screaming, like you said, you're able to convey a little bit more as well, and it must be exciting as a band to kind of grow and evolve. But how do you see the evolution of you guys so far from that first release to this one? We've kind of touched on a few points anyway.
Yeah, I think, you know, from the first EP, from Global Suicide, it's definitely going from a bunch of kids that have no idea really what they're doing, and then people seem to, you know, enjoy that music. So we're like, okay, we have something here we can work with, and spending a long time writing the debut album, too long, but we learned a lot along the way, how to, you know, not do it or how to do it. And for this EP, it's been the best, you know, the most cohesive writing period. We've been really working well together. I think learning a lot from making the debut album. You know, it's made this process a much easier process than it probably would have if we didn't learn along the way. So I think from here on out, you know, it's just going to get better and better. Yeah. We love experimenting with new things, trying out new things. So we're always going to do that. We're always going to try to take this in a direction we've never taken it before. But I think I think Speak in Tongues shows sort of the way we want to continue developing. And, you know, you never know what it's going to be. But with that in mind, we continue writing for new music.
Damn straight. I'm looking forward to what comes of Fixation. Look, you're already on your third release, and I dare say you're going to be a band that's playing all over the world, because you deserve to be. You have a really great fucking sound, mate. Do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to add in there, my friend?
Yeah, sure. We wouldn't have we would have been here if it hadn't been for Selena, our product manager at Indie Recordings. We went to school together, and she picked up our music while we were there, and she had an internship at Indie Recordings, and she's like the sixth member of our band, and we truly wouldn't have been where we are today if it hadn't been for her. So big shout out to her. Big shout out to the people that made the Speak in Tongues record, and, you know, big shout out to the fans for listening. It truly means the world to us. And keep spreading love.
Damn straight. Everybody get some Fixation, chuck it in the stereos, crank it up really bloody loud. The neighbours are going to want to hear it too. Cheers, mate.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Oi, you're tuned in to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.